Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my beautiful empresses. And if it's your first time here, welcome. You're in for a treat. This is Embody Your Empress, the podcast that will open your eyes, shift some perspective, and invite you to get curious about life. My name's Sarah King. I'm the host of this podcast and founder of Empress Nation. Today, we're going to be talking all things transformational with Kristen Renee. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. Working as a transformational coach you must see so many things. And before we dive right into that, I would love to hear more about you as a human, as a soul, and what has led you on this mission to be working with other amazing women out there.
Thank you. I think I know my path is to live it, experience it, fumble, learn how to heal, and then help others. And I've seen this in both. I mean, it's in my Enneagram. Is that how you say that? Enneagram? It's in my astrology. It's everywhere. It's like you're going to really live it. And then, martyr, role model, and then guide others. So it's been a lot of like falling down, hitting every tree limb, and getting back up and rebuilding. So, my path is I was like probably most women. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area, and it is work, and that's what you do, and that's what you talk about. And then when you're not working, this was my life at least, working, hustle job, corporate, high level work, make good money to live in the Bay Area, then race after work to go for a run, to have the perfect body, to race to a social event. And if you can't get it all in, you take away from your sleep and do it all again the next day. And that was kind of life. And for me, it was compounded. This is all what I've learned in hindsight. It was compounded because I had earlier trauma that I just shoved down like we do and didn't really express it. And I'm also a very sensitive soul who was the black sheep of the family and the scapegoat. So I had kind of already a lot of layers. And then when you keep adding this like life of imbalance, rushing, suppression, imbalance, disconnection, only living in your head, eventually what I've learned is you reach a tipping point. So I got an autoimmune diagnosis. My knee swelled up on a double workout day because that's what I did. And within two doctor's visits, it was rheumatoid arthritis or autoimmune diagnosis. And, I said to the doctor, I'm going to be the one that heals this. I was quite confident. I've been through enough that I was like very strong willed. And, little did I know it would spread throughout most of the right side of my body. And it would take over 10 years for me to understand what was happening within my body, to stop fearing my body, to stop, you know, trying everything other than addressing me, my lifestyle, my patterns, the environment. I was trying every specialist, like from my eye, an ophthalmologist, chiropractor, stem cells, lymph, gut, surgeons, and spent obscene amounts of money over the course of 10 years, all the while staying with that like life on a treadmill. So I finally got the urge to say, I have to change my life. And I, to the dismay of everyone, kind of followed that gut. I'm like, none of these protocols are working, and I need to go get off this treadmill, this hamster wheel. And I sold my house to kind of alleviate at least the financial stress I was under and like knock off one thing. I started to notice I had a pattern of dating people that had money, I think because I wanted someone to rescue me. And instead of understanding it all comes from me and to stop looking externally. So I said, okay, I recognize the dating pattern. And, I said, I'm going to rescue myself. And sold my house without a plan, asked my company if I could work remote, got an Airbnb in another state, and I just got in a U-Haul with my dog and we were off, like zero plan other than the plan was to change. And it was quite amazing, um, because in another state, I didn't have the same distractions. And even I later read Joe Dispenza, or maybe in the midst of that, he would say, I believe, I hope I don't misquote him, but something to the effect of, you can't heal doing the same things in the same place that got you sick, right? So before I'd even heard that quote, I was just trusting my instinct and off I went. And to not have the distractions and just be able to like work with a coach, face it all. I ended up going through that dark night of the soul and just like understanding like, oh my gosh, I lived my whole life in survival and fight or flight and living small and fear based and totally imbalanced and in the hustle and disconnected. And all that is what was impacting my body. And um, the actual real catalyst tipping point event during that was I had my second work induced or stress induced panic attack. And I'll give you the woo woo side here is I slept on it. I was on a call with my boss and had the panic attack. And I slept on it, woke up the next morning, chose one oracle card for guidance, and it was leap, like take a leap, the universe will catch you. One card. I still have goosebumps. And I walked over to my phone, holding the card, called my boss, and I resigned. Right, like literally within seconds after getting that card, I'm like, this is the sign. And that, right after quitting, my arm started moving again. And I healed my eye when I was changing states and just said, I'm not going to have this issue anymore. I never had it again. So I really started to understand, you know, our thoughts are so powerful with our body and our emotional state, toxic emotions, all of that. Because I witnessed the healing with these, steps of self love or courage or trust or purpose or alignment. Like I saw it firsthand. I hope I'm not talking too much. Sorry. But, and then,
Love it.
okay.
Yes, keep going.
Okay. From that, within this, like the following week, I had already scheduled to move to the mountains. And I told my company I'm going to wrap this job up before I move. I didn't want to bring the job with me again. Quitting was totally unplanned, completely unplanned. And I moved to the mountains the next week, which had been planned, and I didn't have a job to bring. And so I just had like insane healing in the mountains under the pine trees, slept for 12 to 15 hours a day. I was literally rebalancing my hormones, my body, getting out of fight or flight. I was safe. It was a friend's home. Like I could take that like deep breath and feel safe and, really do that deep healing. So I started to write when I was there because I'm like, oh, I've had some fun experiences and, I've like a fun, interesting life. And that's when I came up with, okay, not everyone can just sell their house and quit their job to heal their body. So what were all the shifts that I did? And I really broke it down. And that's created this like 12 principle framework to help people. Um, really kind of understand like the magic in their body, how to connect, how to make some shifts, how to see maybe their patterns. It's like we break it down step by step. So that's how it was born. It's me living it, but also working with like incredible people along the way that I've learned so much information and then studying relentlessly for 15 years everything I can, So that's where I am. I'm newer on this new path now. So yeah, I'm like more kind of author coach and have an online course. But the framework is, it's really trying to ground the like high level and woo woo with like daily shifts, which you probably could see as woo woo, but it's like, so I seem to attract people like me that are just, or how I used to be, which was just dipping their toes, like barely understand, like not knowing spirituality yet, but having that like inkling they want to learn it more. So anyhow, I'm sorry if I talked too long. That's
No, it's beautiful. What a
okay.
beautiful journey. And thank you for being so vulnerable with us.
Sure. Yeah, that's my
What,
path.
yeah. What is like one of the daily shifts that you can share with us? Like one of the woo-woo shifts that people can incorporate into their day right now.
Sure. I mean, I kind of try to do it in order, but I also I'm adaptable based on people's needs, right? But like my first pillar is, or principle is connecting with your body because a lot of us don't know if we are disconnected, or like, even if I were to ask you now, like, can you bring awareness into your heart right now? Like, I couldn't. I was only operating from the neck up, it turns out. I had no imagination. Like, so do you have imagination? Like, if you're in survival, you probably don't have imagination because you're living like you're being chased by tigers. So who has the time to envision this wonderful life while they're running for their lives? So
No
it
time
was
for daydreaming. You gotta keep going.
that. Those were like big realizations where people were like, okay, imagine this. I'm like, wait, I can't. How do I even imagine that? And be in your heart, wait, I can't. Or, I'd bang body parts around because I was just so out of my body from just I couldn't process all the trauma that was happening. So I just learned to like, leave and float away and I also was quite fearful of my body. So my first pillar is connecting with your body. So just literally bringing presence and awareness. Maybe that's sitting in meditation. Maybe it's just sitting and sending love to different parts of your body, or awareness, or, I learned to send extra love to the stuck parts. Like, okay, you're, communicating. I know you aren't defective, you're communicating. So by slowing down and connecting with your body, that's one step of maybe understanding that, well, one, we don't want to be in fear or upset with our body. That's no fun, and it just makes things worse. But two, just sending love to the parts that may need even more love, right? Because we also want to release shame. We want to release, the goal is to get into love and our most natural state. And so all these shifts kind of bring you towards that, but we're not going like 0 to 100. We're going to like, let's do some of this. And then, there's some releasing parts, there's some refilling with love, or, refilling your cup, finding your purpose, connection with nature, etc. So that's kind of, it's truly like grounding the woo woo. So it's like realistic and practical, because I'm a person that's like, I hear you with the theories, but what does that really mean? And so it's really like, let's like really, what does that mean to me each day, so I didn't realize I was doing that, but that's what I was doing, truly. Like, I want the practical, I want homework, I want it to see results, that's just how my mind is too.
That's beautiful. And we are living in this world, like in a 3D world at the moment. So we need to have practices that are relevant for, yeah, like connecting spirit and physical body. So that's beautiful. I love how you said we felt like life was on a treadmill. So many women out there feel like they are on the treadmill. Um, and you packed it all up to move. I'm curious. I know when I've done something that's maybe a little bit more radical, people are like, but what are you going to do? Did you get that question?
Yeah, I think they just knew I was like, I'm doing that. Like, no one, I mean, they all said it's a terrible financial decision, but so would be if I became hospitalized if I didn't make these shifts, right? So, um, yeah, I think I lost some friends. Like, a lot of people, even very close friends, were like, okay, you're a little delulu. Good, great. Or, one person said, one of my closest friends, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but She said, "You're on another planet." Yes, I am. And it's at a higher level now. I raised my vibration. I'm not in that muck. I've learned how to heal myself. I feel way better every day. I actually love myself. Like, great. I consider that a compliment, right? So, um, yeah, I had that. I had family members that were trying to stop me because of, a bad financial decision is what they were thinking. But later they said, like, I get it. You needed to do this for your healing. You were under too much stress. Like, they understood later why, no one else is in my body but me and understands the pain every day to live with inflammation or not knowing if your arm will move, if your leg, can bend. Like, no one else, or your brain fog, like no one else feels that on, like, being afraid of every bite you eat or sip you take. Like, I truly think I had to. And that cute little house I had, I thought I'd have it forever, but I believe the universe had me own that so I could save up, so I could then trial, like, work with these amazing energy people and have the space to heal and write and rebuild and step into my purpose. So, and again, not everyone can do that. So I wanted to create, like, real ways you can still heal without blowing up your life like me. No, I think people just look at me like it's odd, like, what is she doing? And, from corporate Christy to now talking about wellness. And but I had to also sit with that. You have to sit with being okay to be seen and heard and different. And so it was like really scary at first to, like, post some new things and be sharing your vulnerable stories out of the blue from someone who kept it all in and tried to be like everyone else at these, like, top financial firms, but I wasn't. I had a lot of trauma. So, um, yeah, it's been a journey, but I think people are seeing me now as this new person. And yeah, I think people are like, oh, she's a writer now. Like, sure, anyone can be a writer first
Yes,
time.
use it right now. Like,
Like,
that's
what?
exciting. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. You are sharing this wisdom that you have intuitively lived through and seen your own transformation. Now you get to share this with the world, which is
Yeah, it's like you're doing more healing while you're writing, I learned, and
fantastic.
I'm sure you did too. And you're doing it for the purpose of helping other people that were in your position. You're going back to, like, be the person you needed then. So it's needed in the world, there the more you're in this community, you realize there's a lot of us, but, like, I believe in abundance and we all will reach the right person too. And if you feel it from your soul and your heart and you're just, like, pulled to this to the point of, like, blowing up your life and selling everything and changing everything and, like, stepping to the new person, I absolutely think you have to follow through and I absolutely think it will all work out. So, and probably better than we thought if we're here to, like, serve our true purpose.
Oh,
Uh,
1,000%, 1,000%. I love it. I'm a firm believer in our body shows up physically what we are choosing to ignore within our emotional and spiritual like awareness. And when you can actually when it's got to the body stage, when it's showing up there, it means you have been ignoring it for a really long time. And it
yeah,
is up to you to do something about it. Like trying to pass it off as other things is sort of like a bypass. It's up to us to step in and acknowledge and tune into the intuition and reach out for support with people like yourself who've lived this journey and go, what can I do for my own health? Like take it back into the ownership and know that you don't have to continue to keep living like that if you choose not to. You can change it at any stage.
totally. And open your mind to things. I think I will resonate a lot with a lot of corporate women that, maybe all the protocols they've tried weren't working, but, I'm here to say, like, let's get into what I try to, like, slowly approach this, but perhaps there's an emotion that's stuck there. Like, is it on the right side or left side of your body? Can we start to understand what does that body represent? And it's like mind-blowing info. And it was for me too. And someone like you, I'm sure knows this, but people don't, I read Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life book after I healed, and I had it the whole time, but I just wasn't ready. My friend had given it to me and I was like, what's this? It's like right there. I reference it probably daily, but I read it after I healed and I was like, this is mind blowing. Like it has a glossary of what body parts represent and what um, maybe your old thought pattern was that helped lead to that, and then what your new thought pattern should be. And it's so incredibly accurate too. And she was
It
just
really
such,
is. Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's incredible. Like my elbow, which healed after I quit, is all about, I think it's not being afraid of or not stepping into your new path, something like that. And, your eyes, something you didn't want to see, and that healed when I was moving. Like I really, I do think that there's emotions, like you said, behind it, or, there was a speaker that talked about like hitting, it's almost like if you're driving along on a road and you hit the bumps, like you're getting off the road and you hit those bumps, that like off the path of maybe your highest path, it's like your body is like, hey, you're out of alignment, like you need to get back on the road. Or if you need a rest, maybe you're just like going way too fast and it's some forced downtime, right? They're like, you need to slow down. Um, I liken it sometimes, it's a little gross, but when I moved, my dog was really upset with me one night when I went out and he peed on my bed. And I was like, I mean, I was upset, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm like, he's communicating as best he can. He doesn't like that I left him out. I left him that night and went out. And I feel like that's what our bodies are trying to do. Like, "Here, let me give you a symbolism. Um, and it's so wild to me to think this way and think that our bodies are for us, not against us.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. I'd been out at a sister circle one evening and, beautiful cacao, bonfire, meditation, sound bowls. And it was blissful. And I came back floating and it was late at night and my head hit the pillow and I feel the trickle of blood from my nose. And I was just like, what? And I'm like, what's going on? As a child, I would get bleeding noses all the time, constantly. Didn't think anything of it as an adult. Only realized as an adult that's not normal for everyone. And anyway, hadn't had one for ages. And I had just bought not the Louise Hay book, but there is another, a very similar one that I have here with a different author, and it references everything in the body. So I look up this book. I just got it that day, just got it, looked it up, and it was to do with holding anger in the body, holding anger and resentment and pushing it down. And I went, I don't feel angry. Closed the book, put it back. And the journey over the next couple of weeks that I was on, I had to reflect and like eat humble pie afterwards, because suddenly after 38 years of repressing all of my anger, shoving it all down, pasting the fake smile on my face, going, everything's fine, it's all good, don't worry. The anger had bubbled over and come out. For the first time in my life, I felt full body rage, and it felt so bloody good to actually feel it burning within me. And then I was just like, that was the bleeding nose. It was like, hey, Sarah, you've got to acknowledge that, before I have an epic meltdown and ended up in a massive argument with someone. However, that was the journey I chose to take.
Wow.
But my body was
The,
trying to
cer-
match me.
the ceremony like helped bring it out, you
It
think? Yeah.
helped. It was just like, oh, we're ready for this now. We're going to go into it. And I was like, still at the very forefront of my mind, going, oh, I don't think so. I don't think. And yet the wheels were in motion. It was time that I needed to start
Yeah.
feeling the anger. And that sort of progressed over the 12 months following that. there were so many situations that I was put in where I was encouraged to just feel the emotion for what it was rather than repressing it and faking it. And I'm just like, wow, you can feel the shifts in your body when you actually feel through the emotion rather than trying to push it down. Like even
Yeah.
I speak with that with my daughter, she's 9 and she's very sensitive. She's highly like empathic. And she goes, oh, my stomach. And I'm like, feel it for what it is. Don't try and tell yourself there's nothing there. Just feel it for what it is and it will dissipate rather than
Yeah.
holding onto it, clenching onto it, shoving things on top of it, numbing out with like the emotional eating or the watching TV to like bypass it. And it's a really powerful conversation to have, like truly feeling what's going on for yourself is
Mhm.
liberating.
Huge. It's such a like, it's just such a path for the brave is what I've realized because it's not everyone wants to do it, has the capacity or timing, right? Like, um, or the awareness. So it's such a brave path because that that time when you're feeling it all and realizing like, oh my gosh, I've lived with this stuck for so long and it's impacting me physically. Or I even had to get through the embarrassment because I had one coach say, oh, inflammation is anger. And and inflammation is anger. And so, how embarrassing that I'm like walking around the world saying, hey guys, I have stuck anger in me with like my step joint, like we truly show what we're feeling inside with our outs external, right? So, um, yeah, like there's an embarrassment, there's the feeling, the I was triggered easier during that healing time, sensitive to too much sound or light, while you're kind of rebalancing, um and then it gets better. It's like so worth it, but it's tough when you're in it for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. When you're being so vulnerable with the world and it's all on display, because we have been conditioned and taught that hide it all, don't let anyone actually see how you're feeling or what you're thinking. Just like pretend everything's all good. And I think that happens a lot in leadership, and you would have seen this in the corporate world that you put on your blazer, you button it up, you go off to work for the day, and how are you? Yeah, I'm great. And there's this persona of I have to be great because if I'm not great, then I will be bad at my job, and if I'm bad at my job, I'll lose my job, and the competitive side of life kicks in. And yet, I feel personally, if we just showed up more authentic and as our genuine selves in leadership, and with just more honesty about where we are without putting so many filters on ourselves, we would actually be much better at what we do.
yeah, I mean that's my angle of because I ran HR for a long time, and in HR you just kind of, I mean, but this was as of a few years ago, but get, a mental health app and check the box. Like we do mental health, but like there's a lot more that can be done. And yeah, I had burnout, but I realized it was all connected to, living small and the symptoms and the suppressed emotions. But I absolutely had burnout because I was just overdoing it, just in the masculine energy, just going and hustling and unable to rebalance. And I do think wellness comes from within. And yeah, I want to go back to the corporate world and kind of mold, blend the healing journey and my corporate HR background and talk about how to really have workplace wellness. And I think about like healing the leaders. We've worked for leaders that aren't healed, that then lead to unhealthy cultures, right? Or healing the individuals to help create a healthy culture. I do think, you know, I did that, put on my HR hat, left everything at the door, put on a brave face, but like inside, I had so much I needed to address. So I do think that would lead to much healthier cultures and, have better work-life balance, understand people are humans, not machines, and, or maybe that women have different cycles than men and need different, under level of understanding, or we had, just people have different sensitivities. There's, introverts, extroverts. We were all so different. So I do think that would help so much in the corporate world too. Any job, really.
Any job, understanding that we are unique individuals rather than just expecting the same with the same results. I
Yeah.
feel that too. I know a lot of neurodivergent people, and I encourage them to be more vocal about their specific needs within a workplace.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Do great at what they do, and yet sometimes a workplace is very much this is the way it is for everyone. But when you actually vocalize what your needs are to be performing at your best and to do it in a way that's conducive not just to your work like product, but also your mental health and your wellness while you're there, is really important. So being an advocate for yourself in these situations is a beautiful step to take.
Absolutely. I got my first office because raised my hand and said, the smell and the lights and the sounds, it's like really a lot for me, and I don't work well in this environment is too stimulating. Like it was just too much for me to be looking at spreadsheets, and other people can just love that and want their music playing and all the things. And I'm like, I need just like peace and quiet. And also I was right by the kitchen and the smells. And I'm like, I was a vegetarian at the time and I could always smell like chicken cooking. And I was like, I need an office. And they were accommodating, and that just like, it changed me. I'm like, I really did need it. And I thrived way better. And I, got promoted, and just from like it was a tiny little office too, and I offered it to my team to share with me, but it changed everything. Like I was happier, could focus more, could do more. And I think for people that this like return to the workplace, it's not for everyone. It doesn't help, like who said, your client, or it's not as great for the introverts. Like they may need a bit more time, to regenerate their batteries and replenish. Or, if you have a disability, or, I've known people that were more fearful of germs or whatever it is, like we're all a bit different. And I think, I'm an advocate for like hybrid, at least workplaces, to like be understanding of that. Because a lot of times the people that are making the rules, I think, might be like extroverts in charge, and like they thrive in it and they want to be at the office. And, they also may have someone at home taking care of their house, and like it's just like easy for them. And it's not really considering everyone else's nuances, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like remembering that we are all individuals and that we have a voice where we can speak up for what our needs are. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love the work that you're putting out there into the world. And it's so beautiful to hear, especially from somebody who has lived the journey on such a deep level as you have and just gone, yes, this is something that needs to be shared with everyone. So thank you so much for that. I have three Empress questions for you. So I
Okay.
would love to know, how do you embody your Empress?
Ooh. Um, I may answer that by being more in the feminine, which was also part of my journey. Learning, it's a daily for me to remember to, do something for me, slow down, learn that I'm worthy of receiving. That's a really big one that I've learned, rather than force it and make it happen. And it's like, no, I can be magnetic and receive, and I'm worthy of things coming to me. And I even like say it, I said it in the shower today. I'm learning to say more like I am statements, and a few really great things just came through this evening. So I do think it's real. So being in that like am worthy and I'm receptive, and I love being feminine, and that I can finally embody that and be in my heart too. I love it. It's so fun too.
It's such a beautiful gift when you connect up those parts of ourselves that were shut off, and you're like, yes, I can feel it there. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that like
And
really.
like, even for dating, I'm not there yet, but I know it will just all work out if I put the right energy and if I'm in the right place, and they're going to come knocking down my door. That's where I'm at. So that's also how I embody it.
You put out your great energy and it will be coming right back to you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Which leads me into my next question. What does your Empress energy feel like?
Again, stuff I've been working on, which is, empowerment. I'm very spiritual and I love saying that now, right? Like, I was at an event and I'm like, people are out of the spiritual closet, and, I love that. So I'd say, I'm always like, have my incense going or my natural candles or my healing frequency music. Like, I'm in just a different space than the old Christy who was like punk rock or whatever. Um, like people come into my house and they're like, "Oh, it's so lovely in here." I'm like, "Thank you." I work on that.
I love that. It's the way to be when someone compliments your energy. Yes, I know it.
Totally. And
Yeah.
it's like the whole house, or
Mhm.
like I I bought this shirt on Poshmark, and I sage it, right? I'm all about like everything has an energetic imprint, and just I'm careful about all that stuff.
Beautiful, beautiful. Right. And what are your parting words of wisdom for inspiring your nation?
Oh, thank you. Let's see. I'd say our body is magical, healing, loves you, is always looking out for you, is always looking out for your best interest. To love it back, you can speak to yourselves. I know this might sound out there for someone who's newer to this, but it's true, right? Like, your body is always listening. Um, just believe, and I like to think of it like a cut on your hand. That's going to heal. Like, your body is working to like keep you healthy, point you in the right direction, and also just understanding how it's all connected. So your mind, body, spirit, whatever you believe in, um, it's connected. So whatever's going on up here is absolutely impacting your body. Um, and also just, your patterns, your lifestyle, your environment. I just believe in looking at all parts of your life if you may have symptoms or something isn't going right, and you can change it, you can face those limiting beliefs and address them and change. We're proof. I'm proof. So if anyone can go from as small and stuck and symptoms and survival like I did to like being okay to talk to you now without my voice quivering or, hiding, then it's proof, right?
Change is possible. It's always for us.
Yeah.
And if someone is interested, jump into the show notes. There's all the links to Christy's work and go and learn those 12-step principle frameworks. Because I know someone out there is listening going, I've had this niggle in my body or I've had this issue going on. Go and get some support, go and get some coaching and work through it on a different level and be amazed at what can happen when you are open to it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kristen Renee. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much.